Have you ever wondered what could happen to our society after the upcoming election? As we draw closer to another pivotal election year, the atmosphere is fraught with uncertainty and apprehension. It's a time when our societal structures appear more fragile than ever, and we, as astute preppers, must confront the stark truth that the stability of our future is not guaranteed. Take a moment to observe the world around us. The evidence is clear. Political divides are widening, tensions are mounting, and the specter of civil unrest is a looming presence. In such tumultuous times, ignorance is far from bliss. It's a direct route to catastrophe. So, what's on the line? Essentially everything. What should you be stockpiling as we stand on the brink of the 2024 elections? This video will delve into the crucial necessities that you need to consider. Being prepared is not about being scared, but about being ready for any given situation. When it comes to stockpiling, the first things you need to consider are your basic necessities. Now let's talk about the linchpin of survival: food and water. These are the absolute non-negotiables. When stockpiling food, you'll want a variety: canned goods, dry goods like rice and beans, and even freeze-dried meals. But remember, variety is not just about flavors. It's about nutritional balance. You need proteins, carbohydrates, and fats to maintain strength and energy. Water is equally vital. The average person needs about a gallon of water a day for drinking and hygiene. Stockpile as much clean water as you can, but also consider purification tablets or filters. These can turn questionable water sources into life-saving hydration. Moving on to energy. With the potential for power grid failures, alternative cooking and heating methods are a must. A gas or charcoal grill can be a godsend when the power's out. Portable propane heaters can keep you warm when the mercury dips. And don't forget about lighting. Stock up on candles, oil lamps, and lots of matches. But what about long-term power needs? Here's where things like generators, power banks, and solar panels come into play. They can sustain critical appliances like refrigerators and medical equipment. Remember, power isn't just about comfort, it's about safety and health too. Lastly, let's not forget about fuel. If you have a generator, you'll need fuel to run it. The same goes for your car. In a crisis, gas stations can run dry surprisingly fast, so keeping a supply of fuel can give you a significant advantage. Remember, these are just the basics. Your personal situation may require more specific preparations. Maybe you have dietary restrictions or a medical condition that requires special consideration. That's why it's so important to plan ahead and think through all possible scenarios. Remember, your survival depends on your preparation. After all, it's not the strongest who survive, but the most adaptable. And adaptability starts with having the right resources at your disposal. So stay smart, stay prepared, and stay safe. In uncertain times, having cash on hand can make all the difference. Imagine, if you will, a situation where electronic banking systems are down and credit cards are rendered useless. What then? Your everyday transactions would come to a grinding halt. That's where cash steps in as your savior. Cash, specifically in small denominations, is an essential item to stockpile. It's not about hoarding wealth, but about being ready for emergencies when our usual electronic transactions may not be possible. Smaller bills are more versatile, allowing you to pay for goods and services without overpaying due to lack of change. Think of it as your insurance policy against a world where digital dollars don't work. It's a cushion, a safety net that can help you navigate through the choppy waters of uncertainty. So remember, when the chips are down and the lights are out, cash is king in a crisis. Being able to protect yourself and communicate with others is vital in a crisis. This is a fundamental truth, etched into the core of every smart prepper. Let's dive into the realm of self-defense tools. These are not just about arming yourself to the teeth, but rather about ensuring your personal safety and the safety of those around you. Depending on your comfort level, your skill set, and the laws of your region, options might range from firearms and ammunition to non-lethal alternatives like pepper spray. Each has its place and purpose. The key is to have something you are comfortable using, and that is effective in deterring threats. But remember, it's not just about owning these tools. It's about understanding how to use them responsibly and effectively. So, take the time to learn, practice, and master your chosen self-defense tools. It's about more than just stockpiling, it's about preparation and skill development. Now, let's switch gears to communication devices. In a crisis, information is your best ally. Knowing what's happening in the world outside your immediate surroundings can make all the difference. That's where communication devices come into play. A battery-operated radio, for instance, can keep you informed about local news and emergency broadcasts, even when the power grid fails. Two-way radios, on the other hand, can be essential for maintaining contact with your group or family members, especially if cell service becomes unreliable. And for those in remote locations or facing severe conditions, a satellite phone can be a lifeline, connecting you to the outside world when all other communication channels fail. But remember, these devices are only as good as their power source. So, always ensure you have backup batteries or alternative power options to keep them running. Your safety and knowledge of the outside world could depend on these items. So, as a smart prepper, make sure to give self-defense tools and communication devices the attention they deserve in your prepping plans. In a crisis, your health and identity are crucial. Let's not overlook the importance of documentation and medical supplies in our prepping efforts. Imagine the chaos of a disaster scenario. Amid the confusion and urgency, having your essential documents at your fingertips can save you from added stress and complications. We're talking about copies of your identification, insurance policies, and medical records. These documents prove who you are, what you own, and your medical history. In a world of uncertainty, they serve as your lifeline to any remnants of the system still functioning. Store these copies in a waterproof, fire-resistant container. Digital copies are also a good idea, but remember, in a world without power or internet, paper is king. So, while you're stockpiling, don't forget to prioritize your paperwork. It might not be as exciting as a new survival gadget, but it's just as important. Now let's turn our attention to medical supplies. In a crisis, health centers might be overwhelmed, inaccessible, or simply non-existent. This is where a well-stocked medical kit becomes invaluable. Your kit should include a comprehensive first aid kit. This isn't just band-aids and antiseptic cream, but also items for treating serious injuries like compressed dressings and tourniquets. Next, prescription medications. If you or a family member rely on certain medicines, ensure you have an adequate supply to tide you over until normalcy returns. Over-the-counter medicines are also essential. Painkillers, anti-diarrheal medications, antihistamines, and cold and flu remedies can make life more bearable in a crisis. Finally, don't forget basic medical equipment. A thermometer, blood pressure monitor, and tweezers might seem mundane now, but in a disaster scenario, they can be lifesavers. Don't underestimate the importance of these items. In a world turned upside down, they can provide a sense of order, a touch of comfort, and a fighting chance at survival. These items could mean the difference between a minor setback and a major disaster. If you're preparing for the long haul, you'll need to think about food production and morale. Yes, you heard that right, morale. Living through uncertain times can be mentally and emotionally taxing. It's crucial to have items that can keep spirits high and minds occupied. Now let's talk about seeds. Having a variety of non-GMO seeds on hand is vital for long-term survival. Imagine being able to grow your own food supply. It's a self-sustaining life skill that can come in handy when grocery store shelves are empty. And don't underestimate the power of entertainment. A good book, a deck of cards, a classic board game, these can be lifelines in a world where the internet might be a luxury. They provide a sense of normalcy, and a way to pass the time during extended periods of isolation. With these items, you'll be ready for whatever the future holds. Being a smart prepper means being ready for any situation, and we've covered a lot of ground today. Remember, it's crucial to prioritize your needs, starting with food, water, and alternative energy sources. Financial readiness is key, so keep a stash of cash handy. Don't underestimate the importance of defense and communication tools. In uncertain times, these can make a world of difference. Have copies of your essential documents and a well-stocked medical kit. But we're not just talking about surviving. We're talking about thriving. Seeds for gardening and entertainment options can make the journey more bearable, even enjoyable. In the face of uncertainty, being prepared is not just an option, it's a necessity. It's about safeguarding what matters most: our lives, our freedoms, our future. In the end, the best preparation is a clear mind and a determined spirit. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay vigilant. Until next time, keep prepping.